the Southwest, many people follow the old Mexican custom of breaking a pinata on special occasions. Betsy is about to celebrate her 6th birthday. She would like a pinata for her party. Her mother thinks that Betsy and her 2 older sisters would enjoy making their own pinata. Betsy gives her friends invitations to her party next week. In the meantime, they must make it. It used to be that all pinatas were made around clay pots called ollas. An easier way is to use a balloon. Betsy's sister Sarah blows up the balloon. It can be any size you like. The oldest sister, Diana, then ties a knot in the balloon. Since the pinata is to be of papier-mâché, Betsy tears newspaper into strips. Meanwhile, Sarah pours out liquid starch. The starch will make the paper stick to the balloon. The pieces of newspaper are coated with starch, and then they are smoothed onto the balloon. When the balloon is all covered with newspaper, they start on a 2nd layer. This time, they use the comic section of the paper so they can tell apart the 1st layer from the 2nd. For the 3rd layer, they go back to ordinary newspaper. Now the pinata must be set aside to dry. When it is completely dry, a little hole in the balloon will let out all the air. Now, Diana cuts a circle out of the top. So that she can pull out the empty balloon. A harness of heavy string is needed to hold up the pinata while it is being used. Betsy wants a star pinata, so Diana outlines circles of newspaper. First, the circles are cut out. And then they are folded to make the points of the star. Cuts are made along the bottom so that the point can be pasted onto the pinata. Sarah makes them stick with liquid starch. Now they're going to make the ruffles that give pinatas so much color. Diana takes a sheet of tissue paper and folds it several times. When she unfolds it, and cuts along the new crease marks, she will have strips 2.5 to 3 inches wide. She folds one of these strips in half. And then she doubles it over several times. Now, cuts are made along the folded edge of the paper about 1/8 of an inch apart. The next step is to unfold the strip and turn it with the fold up. She puts some liquid starch along one of the edges. And then folds over the paper. Diana will then have a ruffle that stays puffed out. Many of these will be needed. While Diana has been cutting ruffles, Sarah has been busy making them too. She cuts strips 2.5 to 3 inches wide from tissue paper. Then she folds each strip in half. She folds several times. Then Sarah makes cuts along the folded edge. She unfolds the strip and lays it flat with the fold up. Much of the work of making piñatas, such as cutting ruffles, can be done beforehand so that the materials are all ready to be put together. Then, with starch along one edge, and after folding the paper over, another ruffle is ready. Now, the piñata can be put together. So that the ruffles will stick onto the paper mache, they coat the piñata with starch, a section at a time as they come to it. Then they lay on the ruffles from the top down with the flat part on the bottom. When one ruffle has been all pasted on, Diana begins another one. Sarah starts on the body. This part is fun, as you see the piñata taking shape right before your eyes. Best of all, you can make your own piñatas just as pretty or perhaps even prettier than the ones you can buy. Now it is Betsy's turn to continue the decorating of the piñata. A little touching up, and it's ready to have streamers stapled to the tips of the points. When making piñatas, it's fun to use many different colors. You can find your own combinations of colors that look well together. Candies, nuts, and little toys. Into the piñata they go. Here are a few ideas for other kinds of piñatas, such as a heart for Valentine's Day. You can make an Easter egg or a football. The eyes of the jack-o'-lantern are pasted right on top of the ruffles. A clown or a snowman or a Santa Claus can be fun to make. With rubber cement, just paste together 2 balloons. And hold them until they stick to each other. How about a donkey? To make the head and neck, just roll up a newspaper stuff balled up paper in one end and make cuts in the other end for pasting. But piñatas are made to be broken. If you have a large group, give each person just 2 or 3 swings so it will not be broken too soon. Then it happens. And everyone will have something to remind him of this pinata.